Talismanic words like control, security, stronger America, strength. Realize that they're talismanic words that are being used against you. They're seduction words to try and get you to accept this because you don't have that. Well, you've been raped of that. The people who are selling you one story here have actually taken away the very things that you needed that were in your psyche to begin with.
I'll never apologize for the United States of America, ever. I don't care what the facts are. I will lead her. I will do my level best to stand up for freedom and democracy around the world by keeping the United States of America strong and by keeping our eyes wide open as we welcome change in the world, but keeping our eyes wide open.
While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators, took the incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor.
The U.S. public is outraged. The result? Support for land war zooms. It's a turning point. Desert Storm is launched.
Safety right!
Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait came in August 1990, and George Bush assembled a massive coalition to help repel the Iraqi leader.
Some may ask, why act now? Why not wait? The answer is clear. The world could wait no longer.
A lightning-fast war in early 1991 pushed Saddam back to Baghdad. Bruised but still in power, the president's approval ratings skyrocketed.
One small problem. There never were any incubator baby deaths, not one. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation's investigative flagship program, The Fifth Estate, reveals the girl to be the Kuwaiti ambassador's daughter, given her lines and coached in acting by the giant American PR firm Hill & Knowlton. It's one phase in a $10 million joint U.S.-Kuwaiti campaign of deception. This man is lying.
I myself buried 14 newborn babies that had been taken from their incubators.
This man is lying.
They had kids in incubators, and they were thrown out of the incubators so that Kuwait could be systematically dismantled.
There were a lot of people who participated in a conspiracy. Yes, an out-and-out conspiracy of fake organizations, false documents, fraud, and disinformation.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
The president had been silent 3 days. His lawyers wanted it that way. But the political damage was rising much too fast. Today, drawn and bleary-eyed, Mr. Clinton joined the battle to save his presidency.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
He turned his back on questions as the First Lady followed, applauding. The woman who could bring down the president appeared for the first time today, leaving her apartment with her lawyer. Lewinsky has indicated she will accuse Mr. Clinton of a sexual relationship, but only with a guarantee from prosecutors.
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
We've made the decision we're going to war with Iraq. This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, we're going to war with Iraq. Why? He said, I don't know. He said, I guess they don't know what else to do. If the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail.
I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
The British government has learned that Saddam Hussein recently sought significant quantities of uranium from Africa.
One of the most worrisome things that emerges from the thick intelligence file we have on Iraq's biological weapons is the existence of mobile production facilities used to make biological agents. Let me take you inside that intelligence file and share with you what we know.
Why did you lie to get us into a war that was not necessary and that has caused these kinds of casualties? Why?
Well, first of all, I haven't lied. I did not lie then. Colin Powell didn't lie. He spent weeks and weeks with the Central Intelligence Agency people and prepared a presentation that I know he believed was accurate. And he presented that to the United Nations. The President spent weeks and weeks with the Central Intelligence people. And he went to the American people and made a presentation. I'm not in the intelligence business. They gave the world their honest opinion. It appears that there were not weapons of mass destruction there.
You said you knew where they were.
I did not. I said I knew where suspect sites were, and we were just...
You said you knew where they were, near Tikrit, near Baghdad, and north, east, south, and west of there. Those are your words.
Good morning. Well, this is not how I expected to wake up this morning. After I received the news, Malia walked in and said, Daddy, you won the Nobel Peace Prize. Sasha and Malia are huge fans, but boys don't get any ideas. I have two words for you: Predator drones. You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking? Tonight, I'd like to update the American people on the international effort that we have led in Libya, what we've done, what we plan to do, and why this matters to us. And so 9 days ago, after consulting the bipartisan leadership of Congress, I authorized military action to stop the killing and enforce UN Security Council Resolution 1973. And tonight, I can report that we have stopped Gaddafi's deadly advance.
We came, we saw, he died. Did it have anything to do with your visit? Oh, I'm sure it did.
The situation profoundly changed, though, on August 21st, when Assad's government gassed to death over 1,000 people, including hundreds of children.
Don't have any chemical weapons. We gave up our arsenals a few years ago. Even if we have them, we wouldn't use them, and we had never used our chemical arsenal in our history.
WikiLeaks! I love WikiLeaks!
You'd step up the campaign against ISIS even though you believe that Vladimir Putin is getting stuck in a quagmire by going in?
Well, I'm not looking to quagmire. I'm looking to take the oil. I want to take the oil. I want the oil. And I've been saying that for a long time. The Middle East is one big fat quagmire. I'm all for Russia going in and knocking and dropping bombs on ISIS. As far as I'm concerned, we don't have to have exclusivity on that. But we're going to have to do something about ISIS, and we're going to have to do something about what's going on over there.
That's peanuts for you. Should have increased it. So today, I'm keeping another promise. I just signed, prior to walking in, an order directing Secretary Mattis and to keep open the detention facilities in Guantanamo Bay. There was no collusion with Russia. I know nothing about WikiLeaks. It's not my thing.
It reminds me, you would know this as a bit of an aside, but in terms of how you think about problem sets, when I was a cadet, what's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.
Isn't it amazing every country you want to invade, they just happen to be a bad guy? Every country that's oil rich, they happen to be ruled by a bad guy. Isn't that weird? That every country that has a lot of oil that we want to get our corporate hands on, or has a country that we want to put a pipeline through, somehow they always have an oppressive dictator government. Isn't that weird? Saddam Hussein was a bad guy who oppressed his own people. He gassed his own people. The gas we sold him. Muammar Gaddafi's a bad guy. He oppresses his own people, even though he had the best country in Africa and actually took care of their people. Assad's a bad guy. He gasses his own people, and we got blah, blah, blah. Now Maduro's a bad guy. He oppresses his own people. So you never get tired of this? You never get tired of repeating CIA talking points? Do you realize that they have to put out that narrative first before they go and invade, before they do what they do? They have to first do this. This is the first part of it. And then when you repeat this, you're doing the bidding of the CIA. I know a lot of people say, well, I'm glad Bernie says this because then I can take him seriously when he says we shouldn't invade. No, when he does this manufactures consent for invasion. That's why that's bad. Even if he finally concludes that we shouldn't. What you're doing is manufacturing consent because you're saying, yes, the security state, our intelligence community, John Bolton and Elliot Abrams are telling you the truth. There really is a crisis. We really need it. The crisis is caused by us and our economic sanctions on the country, along with Saudi Arabia overproducing oil to drive the price of oil down to $28 a barrel, so we can say there is a humanitarian crisis, so we can then do our invasion. Do you see how you're going along with it when you do this? This isn't a fucking Rubik's Cube. This happens every time. Every time it happens like this. This isn't new. I can see it. Ron can see it. Steph can see it. Fucking comedians see through you. That's why this is bullshit. You gotta stop the foreign wars, Bernie. You gotta tell the truth about them. Tell the fucking truth. And if you don't know this is bullshit, fucking shame on you and your staff.